Hey guys. So today I thought I'd take a look at some of the arguments people use to validate third wave feminism. And while I was looking, I came across this article entitled 77 Reasons We Still Need Feminism. Lovely. Now I'm going to go through and give a rebuttal to each of these reasons. We'll see how well they stand up to scrutiny. I'll do about 20 per video until we make it through the entire list. Okay, enjoy, kitties.
Number 1. Lists like these are still necessary.
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
Men make almost 500,000 more in 40 years of working than a woman. If they saved it up, it's enough to feed their family for 37 additional years.
The wage gap on which you hinge your argument has been disproved time after time. What we are actually seeing is an earnings gap measured over a lifetime. Statistically speaking, women spend less time in the workforce than their male counterparts. Reasons for this include, but are not limited to, starting a family, maternity leave, and choosing to become a housewife. It's not sexism, it's just how reality works. Also, on average, men work longer hours than women do. Women are given the same wages as men in the same positions with the same level of experience and credentials. It is actually illegal to pay them less.
Number 3. Some workplaces, including in Kansas City, require women to wear heels, which causes long-term health problems. There is not an equivalent for men. It's easy to say, so don't work there. But not everyone has that luxury to choose.
Yeah, have you ever seen those poor guys that stand in street corners with the chicken suits? You know, the ones dancing around, advertising for fast food restaurants? Yeah, it must suck to be them. They have to wear those hot costumes all day, get sweaty and gross in there. They can't be comfortable. But you know, they do it because their boss asked them to do it. Privately owned companies have the right to issue a dress code to promote whatever professional image they want. That dress code may clash with your personal beliefs and wishes, but no one is forcing you to work at those establishments. You don't see zit-faced teenage fry cooks lobbying for the abolition of fast food chicken suits, so why are you freaking out about it?
Mothers are less likely to be hired than fathers. Mothers are seen as a risk. She might take days off to work for the kids, while fathers are seen to be hard-working family men.
Well, this is actually a valid point from a business standpoint. Researchers interviewed business owners about their propensity of hiring women, and many said that, as you said, due to the likelihood of a woman leaving on maternity leave, they would hire them less often. But let's be honest with ourselves. If a candidate for a job presents a significant risk that will cost your company money, no one can blame you for choosing a less risky candidate of similar caliber. So I agree with the business owners on this one.
Number 5. Women who report sexual harassment in the workplace are seen as prudes. Career experts advise women not to report it.
I had some serious doubts about this one. I just can't see a career expert giving this kind of advice. And also, what exactly is a career expert? Do you require any credentials or education to become one? I call bull. But to this woman's credit, she did post a link to substantiate her claims. However, when I followed the link, I discovered the article was of the non-existent variety. Which leads me to believe that the original story was so stupid that CBS likely had to retract it. It's not my responsibility to substantiate this lady's claims. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Number 6. We're still held to ladylike standards at home and at work. No such standard is a barrier for men. It's funny when men fart, but disgusting when women do it. It's okay when men swear, but on a woman it's uncouth.
That's just tradition and personal beliefs. Some people think it's disgusting when anyone farts or anyone swears, not just women. Conversely, men are held to societal standards too, such as being the breadwinner. It's just the way things are going to go. But again, these standards are not enforced on a legal level. And if a woman wears men's clothing in public or applies to a male-oriented profession, she does not face legal repercussions for it. The only backlash she will get is in the societal sphere. And if you really want to change that, it drifts back into the realm of thought policing, which is bad.
Number 7. I don't want my little sister to be treated like I've been treated in the workplace.
Then tell her not to work at Hooters. But in all seriousness, what happened to you in the workplace? Did someone sexually harass you, violate your rights on basis of sex, threaten you in any way contrary to the law, or Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964? If so, report it immediately to the proper department official. It's illegal to sexually harass someone in the workplace, and legal action can be taken against those found guilty of it. The system for dealing with these sorts of issues is already in place. Report it. Unless, of course, what you're complaining about isn't actually harassment, and it's just you being overly sensitive, in which case, grow some thicker skin.
Number 8. You're emotional is a way to undermine women's passionate opinions, even when passion is seen as a benefit in men.
You know, I am a woman, and I don't think anyone has ever told me I was too emotional as a way to undermine my opinions. And if you watch my channel, you know that I have a lot of opinions, and that I'm not particularly shy about sharing them. But so far, no one has ever accused me of being overly emotional when sharing my opinions. I don't know, probably because when I share my opinions, I do it in a mild, respectful, and even-tempered way. So, you assume that people are calling you emotional to undermine your opinions. Are you sure it's not just you being emotional? Because logically, if this problem has happened to you enough times where it makes your list of damnable injustices towards women, then maybe it's not just men with the problem, it's you. If by passionate you mean shouting, getting in someone's face, insulting someone, or causing disturbances, then yes, you were being emotional. Passion is a form of strong emotion, so their reasoning is valid. If you want to share your opinions, then why not do it in a calm, respectful way instead of bellowing and screeching? Then people won't have any grounds to say you're being too emotional. Not to seem rude, but I think some introspection on your part wouldn't come amiss.
Number 9. We are not an interest group.
Yeah. Remember what I said before about introspection?
Number 10. Girls are still told it means he likes you when boys hit them. Violence is touted as flattery.
Maybe in elementary school on the playground, but if it is an adult saying this to someone as an excuse for domestic abuse, then they are a scumbag. That's all there is to it. And their opinion is far from societal consensus. There are countless shelters for women seeking asylum from abusive relationships. But on the other side of the spectrum, there are little to no shelters or organizations to help men who are suffering from domestic abuse. Men are less likely to be believed if they come forwards about abuse, and they are more likely to be socially disregarded by peers. I think this is actually more a problem for men than women.
Number 11. Men get courtesies like sir. Women are called sweetie in the same situation. I've been called doll, sweetheart, hun, and babe in the job interviews with men. I doubt they would use such names for male interviewees.
Wow, sweetheart, that's rough. Ma'am, madam, miss. These are all respectful titles. Ma'am is the female equivalent of sir, and many people use it. And even if someone calls you sweetheart, then get over it. People will say whatever they want. Getting angry over what other people say won't make you feel more valid, especially if you give such importance to names. And honestly, you're making women seem like whining little children who need to be protected from pet names. And as a woman, I find that irritating.
Number 12. Women who keep their maiden name after the wedding have to justify it for the rest of their lives. Men aren't even asked to change their identity just because they get married.
Again, societal nuance. You can't control what other people think of you, you just have to own it.
13. Miss, Ms., and Mrs. define a woman by their marriage status. Men just use Mr. their whole lives.
Hey, I've got a solution for you. Ms. Ms. was invented by crybabies like you, who only wanted to have one status like men. Boom, problem solved. Let's move on.
14. Thinspiration.
Now, I had no idea what Thinspiration was about, so I followed her hyperlink and found this page, which doesn't explain what Thinspiration is, but rather collects self-help memes about self-actualization and crap like that. Look at this one. How to like yourself.
Number 1. Cultivate self-acceptance. That means accept yourself for who you are right now. It means you don't say things like, I would accept myself if, or I'll accept myself when.
It's actually really bad advice. If you don't like yourself, there's probably an underlying reason for that. Whether that reason is a real problem or something you've dreamed up in your head, it doesn't really matter. If you dislike something about yourself, then change it. Honestly, if you're not happy with yourself, rather than telling yourself you love the things that you hate, you can have a bit of introspection and see what's holding you down, and see if it actually is a legitimate issue. Say you're like 10 pounds overweight, and you're embarrassed about your appearance and think that you're fat. The key to self-acceptance is to look inside yourself and to figure out why those 10 pounds have you so hung up. Are you trying to prove something to someone? Are you trying to gain approval, attention? What is the real issue? If you think that you need to change, then lose the weight. It'll take you less than a month if you do it right. And if you decide that those 10 pounds aren't or shouldn't be important, then change the way you perceive yourself by attacking the underlying problem itself, which is probably insecurity. But if you're seriously obese, to the point where it's negatively impacting your health, like say you sweat mayonnaise whenever you try to climb upstairs, then the advice to accept yourself is awful. If the thing you don't like about yourself is something dangerous or self-destructive, accepting it and telling yourself you love it is the worst thing you can possibly do. It's not going to make you happy. You'd still be unhealthy, unattractive, and cutting your life expectancy in half. If you want to like yourself, you need to treat yourself like someone worthwhile. And that means respecting your body, too. Obesity isn't a thing that just happens to people, and that it's something beyond their control. Obesity is the result of poor choices on the part of the individual. If you make yourself obese, then you are hurting and mistreating your body. You won't like yourself when you're abusing yourself. Instead, you have to make the choice to change. Do whatever is necessary to be healthy and happy. Lying to yourself won't help anything.
Stop going over all the things you've done wrong, the mistakes you've made, and your perceived inadequacies.
Ruminating over your mistakes becomes a bad thing when the ability to change is impossible. Ruminating over your mistakes when you can change can sometimes give you the kick in the ass you need to straighten out your life. You can't change the mistakes you've made, but you can work every day to be a little bit better.
Where there's something in your past that you feel bad about, say, this is what I learned from the situation, and that was then, and this is now.
Now, this is some good advice. Learn from your mistakes, don't repeat them.
Don't fall into the trap of judging others, as that will often lead to being self-critical.
Brilliant, and while you're at it, hang in there. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Give peace a chance, and whatever other obvious life lessons you want to make a Tumblr motivational poster over. So the link in this chick's post didn't explain anything. But against my better judgment, I searched out what the inspiration actually was. Apparently it's a thing where women who are trying to lose weight look at pictures of thin women in sexy poses to give themselves inspiration to keep at it. It's not a terrible idea. I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, then why not have a goal for yourself? I'm guessing your gripe with this is that the concept of inspiration implies that women should not just accept their bodies they have, and no matter how fat, ugly, or unhappy they are with them. Fat acceptance is dangerous, and it's stupid. Also, I know that as a woman, I'm somehow supposed to be offended by seeing other women that are thin because, I don't know, it reminds fat people that they're fat or something. But honestly, all I could think is that the way this chick positioned her hands, it almost looks like she has a tiny dick poking out. Look at that.
Number 15. Coming out as LGBT or allied can still be scary, even if it gets better.
Yeah, I like how you think you can validate your own flawed movement by pretending to speak for entire groups of people. The heck does this have to do with feminism? Both men and women have a hard time coming out. Why try to claim this as a feminist issue?
Number 16. No one should have to wait to start their career until their kids are grown.
Well, good, you don't have to. There's no law forcing you to stay home and have kids. It's your choice. Stop blaming other people and own up to your own problems.
17. Women still aren't allowed to serve on the front lines in military, even if they are capable and want to.
Women in general aren't as strong as men, and you have to take into account that women face more risks on the front lines than men do. If a man is captured, he could be killed, tortured, imprisoned, or ransomed, and women are likely to have all these things happen, as well as being raped or sold into human trafficking as a sex slave, and that is probably the worst thing that can possibly happen to a person. The military doesn't want to put women on the front lines because they know the risks are so much larger for a woman. But if the day comes that the US military does have to cave to your agenda and let women serve on the front lines, I seriously hope that they don't hold women to a lower standard as far as physical readiness. They should be held to the same physical standards as man, just to make sure that they can actually do what they're saying they want to do. So, no girl push-ups, ladies. Sorry.
Number 18. Preventative reproduction health for women is constantly under siege in politics, but men have autonomy over their bodies and medical decisions.
Okay, first off, lady, I don't want my tax dollars going to help entitled little snowflakes murder their children. Sorry, Toots. that men and women do have autonomy over their medical decisions as far as it affects only them. The controversy of reproductive health is that many argue that a woman's autonomy is diminished to a degree by the rights of the unborn child. That is what the debate is over, not sexism.
Number 19. A woman should be able to make choices or mistakes without fearing it'll look bad on all women. Men don't have to worry about making all mankind look bad.
Yeah, okay, so I followed her link, and this is where it led me. Yeah, that is top notch. I mean, you could have cited a statistic from a respected journal, done some research yourself. But let's face it, nothing says my argument is airtight like cartoons. Brilliant. And I don't think I've ever felt like I was representing all women, or that my triumphs and shortcomings affected how people see me as a sex. I don't think that women are a collective singular entity. We're all individuals, and we only represent ourselves. There are problems with thinking otherwise. If you think that your choices represent an entire group of people, then you are doing yourself a disservice. I have seen feminists do cruel and hateful things to others. Then they hide like children behind the shield of feminism and pretend like that person is attacking their ideology itself rather than the feminist in question and their own stupid choices. And that is ridiculous. Alright, so that's all we have time for this time. I will be posting the next 20 in the next video. So, have fun!